Hello everyone, this is Kamal Adel. As you know, over the past few decades, there was huge demand on multimedia with the growth of social networking and sharing videos, sharing images. This huge demand has contributed to insufficient bandwidth of the network and insufficient memory storage of devices. In this short video, I'm going to talk to you about digital image compression.
Simply, we do image compression for the following reasons. Number one, file size reduction allows image to be stored in a given amount of memory space. Number two, the bandwidth of any network is limited. So in order to make it fast, we need to reduce the size of the transmitted files.
Number three, sometimes the data should be compressed and coded for security reasons.
In this presentation, I will start with an introduction to digital image structure, and then I'll move to types of different image files. After that, I will talk about common compression techniques, and then I will talk about my proposed technique for digital image compression, that is template matching. Then I move to performance measures, so I can evaluate the proposed technique. At the end, I will just share the results. The simplest image is the binary image, which is shown in figure C. Now in this image, each pixel is represented by either 0 or 1. 0 shows black color and 1 shows white color. A grayscale image is an image in which the value of each pixel represents amount of light. Usually, if a pixel is represented by 1 byte, it takes values from 0 to 255. Let me show you how a colored image looks like. If I just move the cursor over there, there are 3 numbers for each pixel. One of them represents the red layer, the other one represents the green layer, and the third one represents the blue layer. Now the size of the black and white image can be easily obtained if we just multiply the number of pixels in the horizontal direction by the number of pixels in the vertical direction. Size of a grayscale image is similar to black and white image multiplied by the number of bits used to represent each pixel. By the way, all image compression techniques are aiming to reduce redundancy. Now there are different types of redundancy. Interpixel redundancy occurs due to correlations between pixels within an image, while coding redundancy present when less than optimal code word is implemented. On the other hand side, visual redundancy arises when extra information exists in the image and can be dropped.
Image compression can be either lossy or lossless. If it is lossy compression, then some of the data might be lost during the compression and decompression process. If it is lossless, that means we can retrieve every single bit in the original image.
Run length encoding converts consecutive identical characters into the same character itself, along with the number of times that particular character appears. The longer the run, the greater the compression. It works best with the black and white images. The run length encoding technique depends on similarities between adjacent pixels. If there are no similarities, then there is no way to do compression using this technique. The colored square shown here cannot be compressed using run length encoding. This slide shows both an image and its discrete cosine transform coefficients. Now, JPEG is one of the most wonderful compression techniques because it provides a very good compression ratio and it is extremely fast compression technique. Original image is first divided into blocks. After that, DCT coefficients are found. Each block is then compressed through quantization. Quantization is accomplished by dividing each element of the DCT transformed image by its corresponding element in the quantization matrix, and then it's round off to nearest integer. Quantization matrix has low values of the matrix at the upper left corner. Those values usually correspond to low frequency, to which human eye is most sensitive. Less important information at high frequencies will be divided by higher numbers, causing them to disappear at the round-off stage. Discrete wavelet transform has several advantages over discrete cosine transform. Number one, there is no need to divide an input image into sub-blocks. Number two, it has higher compression ratio when we compare it to DCT. Number three, it allows localization in the spatial domain. Discrete wavelet transform coefficients are calculated in the following block diagram. At first, an image is taken into low pass filter and high pass filter. The low pass filter smoothing the image and the high pass filter sharpening the image. After that, down sampling happens, and then another stage of filters, high pass one more time and low pass one more time. This will generate basically four different images. The upper one is the average image, which basically represent the original image, while the other ones are the details. Okay, now let's move to another technique, that is principal component analysis, PCA. The main idea of principal component analysis is to project the data in the direction of the maximum variance. Now, to do that, there are several steps. At first, data is normalized and columns pixels are averaged and subtracted from the original image to improve the signal to noise ratio. The step after that is to use the normalized image and obtain its covariance matrix. Once the covariance matrix of the normalized image is obtained, then eigenvalues and eigenvectors are calculated for the covariance matrix. And finally, the compressed image is produced by projecting the normalized image in the direction of selected eigenvectors. Usually, we select eigenvectors correspond to highest eigenvalues. My proposed solution is to use template matching. Now, the algorithm consists of several steps as follows. At first, a colored image is decomposed into its red, green, blue layers. Each layer is processed separately. The intensity spread matrix is constructed. Each layer in the spread matrix represents the distribution of one intensity level. A two-dimension best match algorithm is then applied to each layer in the spread matrix to find the best template of her features like templates. Each template is then coded either using constant code length or variable code length, whichever gives a better compression ratio. Now we are done with compression. We move to decompression. To reconstruct the original image from the compressed one, we decode the received bits and then try to map them with the templates in the template matching table. After that, those templates are concatenated to form a full image. There are several performance measures can be used to assess the performance of any image processing or image compression techniques. Now, some of these measures are qualitative and some of them are quantitative. In my work, I did use the mean square error and root mean square error in addition to the peak signal to noise ratio and compression ratio. And also I measured the time required for the processor to carry out the algorithm, because this is a very important factor. Usually the peak signal to noise ratio for any digital image compression is inversely proportional to the mean square error. This slide shows some calculation related to template matching performance. Now, the biggest advantage of this algorithm is that we can either consider lossy compression or lossless compression. And at the same time, we can use adjustable size for the blocks used as templates. I talked about different types of algorithms used in image compression. Now, those algorithms are commonly used, and they are different in terms of their performance measures. Some of them are lossy, some of them are lossless. An example of lossy compression is JPEG, which actually relies on DCT coefficients. Also,
Principal component analysis, PCA, is lossy compression. Wavelet is lossy compression.
The proposed technique in template matching for image compression is a promising technique. It needs more investigation. At least it is flexible code in terms of block size, template size, whether it's lossy or lossless. So if you have any question, don't hesitate to email me. Thank you for watching this video.